morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Reveal and Heal. You know, you can heal if you won't reveal. I have an amazing guest today, Thomas Phillips. He's in the house. I'm going to let him tell you about himself. This dude, y'all listen, I love him. He is a great guy. He's a good friend. And he is my business partner. You know, we had to meet. Great guy. And you're gonna know, you're gonna see for yourself when he began to talk about the things that I believe is going to bless your spirit. But let me just tell you, you know, you can follow us on all major podcast outlets. That's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all of them. And of course, we have a radio show. I'm Not Okay. Why?
Yeah, say it again.
This dude is the president of the radio station of Really Real Radio.
Real.
So I'm so very blessed to have the show, you know, on his platform, which, you know, I'm Not Okay Why is a platform of amazing, intelligent beings. You know, they're amazing, intelligent professionals. And we talk about the issues that we're not okay with in our community because we want to start a conversation and we want to be a part of the healing. Because, you know, y'all, we need a healing in our community. I really want to get it started, y'all. I'm so excited because this brother, if you're having a bad day, just walking and being in his presence, it's like nothing but sunshine. He calls me sunshine, but he's the sunshine. Good morning to you, sir.
How you doing? Hey. Y'all stop it. Stop it.
Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. Get ready to be motivated, inspired, and encouraged by this brother. Sir, now, Thomas, I want you to tell the people who you are. Tell the listeners, because even by now, they're on the edge of their seat because you done gave it to them already, all that energy. Tell the listening audience, who is Thomas Phillips?
Well, you know, on the radio website, I believe it says, who is Thomas Phillips? And it says that I am the marketing director of Fountain of Hope. It's a food bank that serves 25,000 per month. By the way, Fountain of Hope began with 25 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches 9 years ago. Today, 25,000 a month. So from 25 sandwiches to 25,000, I say this all the time. I only know of one other story like that. It involves a couple loaves of bread and a few fish. So God is all up in this, is what I'm trying to say.
All up in. So you're going to get to that, but you go ahead and let them know who you are.
I'm a marketing director, TGP Consulting, LLC. I'm the owner, whatever you want to call that. I'm responsible for it. I'm the owner of Really Real Radio. It's actually a DBA under TGP, all these letters. I'm a dad, I'm a brother, I'm a son. But the title that I enjoy best is servant. So that's who I am. I'm a servant.
Amen. Now, you know, I really need for you to go in a little bit and talk about what you do, because you talked about who you are. And, you know, just for the people that are listening, listen, guys, the topic that the Lord gave me for Thomas is unapologetically me.
Yeah, it's me.
Right. So I want you to go ahead and talk to the people, because you mentioned to them, you know, you're the president and CEO of Really Real Radio, but you also run a food bank. And I just talk about your servitude, because you just mentioned that most importantly, above all things, even, you know, outside of being a dad and a son, that you are a servant. So talk about that.
Well, there are two things that I pray all the time. And I even pray it throughout the day. One is that God allows me to see people the way he does. And the second one is to close doors he didn't open. That gets me through. That keeps me humble. Can you imagine how many problems would be rectified if everybody saw people the way God sees them? By the way, if you don't know, Jesus died for everybody. So he must have a whole bunch of love in his heart for everybody. So people will come up to me. I mean, I'm at a food bank. We're in Bankhead. We're in the middle of the hood. And we have a Bible study from 8 until 9 every morning. And it's an open door. Everybody. They come in, and they come in from wherever they were, from doing whatever they were doing. And we don't push them away. We don't use that decency and order line. No, come on in. The Fountain of Hope is a spiritual hospital. It's not a hospital, it's an emergency room. Can you imagine an emergency room being open and the receptionist or the doctor saying, you can't come in here with all that blood, you're messing up my floor. Well, that's how so many churches are. You can't come in here like that. That's not decent. Well, their soul is hurting, their spirit is hurting. Maybe God brought them there so that they could experience God's love through these people, but they're too busy having church. They're too busy trying to impress each other with how much they know the Bible and forgot to just show flat out love. So what I do is really simple. It's really simple. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, but you mentioned several things that we definitely got to talk about, because you mentioned the name of the nonprofit is Fountain of Hope. People need to hear that. It is Fountain of Hope. And I want you to sort of to go back to with Really Real Radio. That is your baby. And that's a beautiful mission about Really Real Radio. It's not like the popular mission that people have when it comes to such a mainstream of communication. There's a mission that's required for anyone to be a part of your radio station. Their message has to be conveyed and meet us the needs of the people to come to know the Lord. So I want us to kind of back it up just a little bit and talk about your radio station, because everything works together. Your radio station, the organization that you run with Fountain of Hope, y'all not only feed the people once a week, but you also set up food for business owners and organizations to come and get food. Y'all give clothes, all that. See, we have a lot of ground to cover.
Well, to be honest, all of it, the food, the clothes, all of it, it's just a setup. It's a setup. We give food away. We give clothes away. On the second Saturday, we give haircuts away, but it's all a setup so that we have the opportunity to let people know that there's a relationship available with Jesus. I mean, the challenge today is so many people are against church because of the way they were introduced to Jesus.
Okay.
To some people, Jesus is this dude that's just waiting for you to mess up so he can send you to hell. He's playing a game with you. If you don't confess all your sins by the time you die, you're not gonna. No. He said it was finished. He loved you and me so much that he went to the cross and he died a horrible death. And he did it just for you. And if you were the only person on earth, he would have done the same thing, because he loves you that much, not because of what you did, because your name is Deb, Coach Deb. That's it. That's the only requirement. And all we have to do is accept that and allow him to start healing our hearts, because all of the challenges that we face, it's heart unhealed stuff. It's stuff that's going on in the heart we have things that we go through early on in life. And if we don't address it immediately, then it begins to grow and it begins to fester within us. And it literally becomes a part of us. That's the biggest problem with unforgiveness. Things happen to us and we don't deal with it. We don't take it to God and let him heal the heart. And it becomes a part of us. And it begins to control our reactions and our thoughts with other people that didn't even do anything to us. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that we get back to this before we end, because
you're going to have to keep me on track, because I'll do this.
That's okay.
The ADD, right?
But listen, let me tell you, the Lord, he uses it for his glory, because you're such a multitasker. You really are. And the thing, I want you, before we end today, I want you to make sure we're going to talk about how the people can find out, what it is that you're doing on what days and all of that great stuff. But I'm excited to know about your story, because that's a before.
Okay.
That's a before, because you're from Los Angeles, California. Is that right?
That's correct.
So let's talk about the before, because you were once a religious man, right?
Oh yeah. I grew
Let's
up,
talk about that.
I grew up Catholic. I think in the 8th grade, when I graduated from Catholic school, I was no longer required to go to Catholic church, but I like Catholic church because they start on time and they end on time. And they say the same thing. They do the same things. Before I could even read, I knew the mass from start to finish. So I was a little something. I'm standing there with they call it a missalette, the book that they read from. And you would have thought I knew how to read because I memorized everything, because it's the same thing over and over and over. But going to Catholic church is a great way to plan your day, because you're going to get in and you're going to get out. That's it. No, well, the spirit is moving, so we're not gonna interfere now. And next thing you know, it's 5 hours later. No. So I started off Catholic. I was a part of a church that was Word of Faith. I also, because I was not born, but at a young age, I had eczema. And my parents really were concerned about that. I was taken to this church and to that church and to this tent and to that street. Anybody that had the title of pastor was allowed to pray for me. And needless to say, none of it cleared up my skin. And I don't want it to sound as though I'm bitter about that. I'm not bitter at all. So there was a time, and I understand the question was about the different denominations, I guess you'll call it, that I've been with, but this is really personal, because all of the things that I've endured, now at this stage in my life, I realize God was developing certain characteristics in me that I needed to do what I do right now. So back to the eczema part. I mean, I went from doctor to preacher, and nobody could clear up my skin. It actually was my nerves. I would get nervous and I just start scratching. And so I remember in the 8th grade, because it was probably the 10th grade. I wasn't allowed to practice football in my sweatsuit because I was ashamed of my arms. I grew up learning how to hide part of me. And so I was this was when Word of Faith was huge. Name it and claim it. You tell God what you need and be specific about it and watch him go to work. Really? The creator of the universe is sitting there with a notepad waiting for me to tell him what to do? I don't think so, but I did back then. So I'm in the room, and I got all my scriptures ready, and I got there and I got ready to start praying, and I started quoting this scripture and that scripture, and I said, God, and I'm kind of being facetious with it, but I'm very serious. I was so serious, I was crying. I had tears rolling down my face, and I'm thinking, he's got to see this and he's got to respond to this because he knows how serious I am. And I remember saying, and God, when I opened my eyes, I'm not asking for $1 million. I felt I wasn't even on a level playing field, because when you're different, my skin was different than everybody's. I was laughed at, I was talked about, I was the butt of a bunch of jokes. And so my prayer was, I didn't want to be elevated past anybody. I just wanted to be on the same playing field. That's all. And I felt, I'm not asking for too much. I just want to be normal. So I knew when I opened my eyes, my skin was going to be clear. I opened my eyes and still there. As a matter of fact, it made me nervous. I started scratching again. But that was the beginning of me realizing the difference between loving God and having faith in him because of who he is, instead of what he can do for me. It took some time after that, but that was the seed. That was the beginning of it, because if I had opened my eyes and my skin was clear, Fred Price would have been really close to God, because he was the one teaching the faith. You find the scripture and you just stand on it. And there's a saying, what do you believe in God for? Well, yeah, okay, that's good for them. I'm not believing him for anything. I'm thanking him for being with me. That's it. As long as he's with me. What can happen to me that can cause me to regret my decision, as long as he's there with me? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were in a fire that was heated 7 times hotter than it normally is. But they were walking around chilling, kicking it, because Jesus was in the fire with them. So often we're praying for situations to be relieved and fixed, and we're waiting for the other side of this. On the other side, I'm gonna have a testimony. Well, you're missing Jesus right there in the middle of it. You're missing the best part to get to the end of it. So you can now have the testimony is, even though all hell is breaking loose, I can still sit here and be comfortable because it's inside of me.
Right.
I still don't know if I answered your question. I'm
You
sorry.
did. And I want us to take it further, because what you did, you showed that once you were religious and showing people the difference in becoming a believer, a believer to the promises. And it's like just thanking him for what is already done, pretty much. You're not looking for something to happen instantaneously.
I'm understanding a lot more that verse that says it's impossible to please him without faith.
That's right.
And it's not faith in what he can do, it's faith in who he is, because when you really are developing this relationship, you really are able to see God in everything. You don't have to motivate yourself. You just see God in it. I mean, I would have what people would consider blessings happen in my life, and instead of being happy and real excited about the material thing that happened, I'm happy that God heard me. Here it is, God that created the universe. I mean, the earth is huge. The earth is really big, but if you look up at the stars, then you see how massive that is. But that's even small compared to the universe that we're in. But the universe is small compared to the galaxies. And God created all that. God is bigger than all that. But he has the time after he's keeping all this stuff running. He's probably got the busiest day that you ever heard of, but he still has time to listen to me saying, I don't feel good. And he can fill me with his peace. Why not smile? I'm asked all the time, because I think some people actually come up to Fountain of Hope just to see if I'm still going to be smiling. And some actually have the nerve to come up and say, well, why are you smiling? I said, somebody died for me, for real. And if you realize what he did for you, you'd be smiling too. You would have nothing to be concerned about.
Wow.
It almost sounds cliche-ish. It sounds, and I'm sure there's somebody that's listening right now saying, that ain't no. Well, most recently, I went through all of last year, and I had negative test after negative test after negative test after negative test for COVID. I mean, I'm out. We have a distribution in Conyers every Wednesday where at least 200 cars are coming through. We're feeding about 500 families. Then at Fountain of Hope, we have the distribution where organizations come through. And then every single day at Fountain of Hope, we're serving probably 150 to 200 people that are walking in and driving in. But before any of that happens, I get out there and I pray with everybody. So I'm in the middle of people I don't know all day, every day. But I was testing negative month after month after month after month. Now, most people, that would be the testimony. God kept me, God held me. Yeah, he did. But you know what? I got the vaccine, and a month after that, I tested positive for COVID this year, a couple months ago. So a religious person would be kind of confounded on what to think about that. Well, how come he allowed this to happen? How come? No, there was a point where my throat was so tight, I had to push to get air out and really fight to get air in. And I realized, I thought to myself, this is really it. And the only thought that came to mind to pray was, God, just be with me until I see you. And my breathing just started clearing up. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit. I think I took Theraflu. And about a week the really bad symptoms had subsided. My breathing got back to normal after about another week or so. But the whole thing is, he was with me through the whole thing. I thought I was going to lose like 10 pounds. I gained 2 pounds. I mean, it wasn't the usual gloom and doom. He and I had a good time. He showed me a lot of things. One of the things he showed me was how many people actually love me and care about me, because I used to isolate myself all the time. I think it started with the eczema. So he showed me that people really do love me. And so that was pretty cool. My COVID experience was pretty cool.
You know, that's a different type of story. And oh, wow, I'm loving this whole conversation. You know, let's talk about what brought you to Atlanta.
3 females.
Oh, okay. And they are?
Brittany, Jayla, and Jordan.
Well, see, that's
3
cool.
daughters.
That's cool. But what brought you? Because you were working for corporate America. As your friend, I know this already. So I want the people to know.
Guide me.
You know, huh?
Guide me in the direction you want me to talk about.
I do. I want you to talk about your position in corporate America. You know, how you were doing.
Well,
you were working.
The job that brought me here. My title was East Coast Regional Sales Manager.
Right. Okay.
Working for a company whose main client was Chase Bank. So on this end of the country, if you flew on Southwest or United and you flew out of, let's see, New Jersey or Baltimore or Atlanta or Dallas or Houston or Orlando, Chicago O'Hare or Chicago Midway. If you flew out of any one of those airports and somebody asked you if you wanted to apply for a credit card, I hired them and I trained them. So if they're nagging, if I trained them to nag. Okay. In a good way, with a smile. But yeah, I was a regional sales manager. Before that, I sold copiers. I worked for a company called Canon. And I remember one day looking at coming outside. Now, this was right at the beginning of my divorce. And my kids and my ex-wife were out here and I was in LA. And growing up, I didn't want to be president. I didn't want to be a fireman. I just wanted to be a father. I wanted to be a father and a husband. I wanted to have young people that I'm responsible for looking up to me and being guided by me. And I felt that was taken away. And that's when, I guess you would call it a depression. I called it boot camp, because through all of that, God had to show me. I mean, the hardest thing that he had to show me, because I had my plan on what my family was going to look like. I had it all planned out. And being in sales, that's what you do. You set goals and you achieve goals. That's the American way. I was setting goals and I was achieving goals. And I remember I had in the driveway, I had the Jaguar that I had always wanted. It was a Sovereign. It was the older model with the oblong license, the oblong headlights. I had my convertible Mustang. It was a GT5 speed. And I had a Mercedes in the driveway. And I remember just being miserable. That didn't do it. And I thought that would. I thought it would at least give me a little bit of pleasure, but I missed my kids. And so in the midst of the real deep, what the world would call depression, but I just, to me, that's where I had to go, because myself, my flesh, my pride and my ego wouldn't let go of certain things. And so there was a struggle, because I wanted to know God's purpose for me. I wanted to be in his will, but I was so misled by all these different versions of who Jesus is that and there it was. And you know what he had to show me? He had to show me that I had my kids. I love my kids more than anything in the world. I had my kids in a place that was reserved only for him. Only for him. And he had to show me that the same God I was praying to in LA is the same God that's going to take care of them in Atlanta. But even more than that, they're his first. They belong to him. When they die, I'm not going to be there. It's not like going to the principal's office and I'm there to back them up. No, maybe intimidate the principal. No, there's none of that. They're going to be facing God by themselves. So the best thing I can do for them is to introduce them to Jesus in a way where he's personal to them, because he has just as I'm experiencing now, right now, I feel like I am smack dab in the middle of God's purpose for me being on this planet. And the best thing I could do for my kids is help them develop that personal relationship so that they can then experience why he put them here and they can be guided by him.
I want us to talk about, what your goal is for Fountain of Hope.
I don't have one. I stopped setting goals.
Okay.
People ask me all the time, what can I pray for you about? And they want me to get specific, and they want me. I remember it had to have been about a year ago. A friend of mine, and an associate of mine asked me, what can I pray for you for, brother? I said, I'm good, because my needs are met.
Mm-hmm.
My needs are met, and God truly is my source.
Mm.
There was a time I was standing in my living room right here. I had just started at Fountain of Hope, and they were taking care of the bills, but nothing else. And at 50 years old, I was walking to work, and my pride and my ego was saying, what's wrong with you? You've been on this earth 50 years and you still got to walk to work. Something's wrong. And so I'm praying, asking God for a job that paid better money. And I promise you, I didn't hear it audibly, but I just felt God saying, well, what do you want more money for? I said, well, I need a car. And I don't have enough money to buy a car, and I can't afford the car note unless I get more money. I just went on and on.
Yeah.
And God, clear as day, said to me, why not ask me for the car? And so this was my prayer. Okay, God, can you give me a car? But you're going to have to give me a better job, because Fountain of Hope is not paying me enough money, and it's going to cost me a lot of money, and I'm going to have to pay for the insurance, and explaining to God why just asking him for the car is not enough. But I went to work the next day. It was maybe a couple of days after that. And one of the pastors that was there, he's not there anymore, but he came in the office. I was sitting in the office. He came in and he said, guess what? Somebody just donated 25 cars to us. Now, mind you, I didn't even get one of those cars, but that's when I started realizing, wow, did he actually hear my prayer? And that's what I was saying. This awesome God that's controlling all of this. On my walk to work, I see squirrels, I see all these different colored birds, I see animals that I didn't see in LA, but I'm watching them going about their lives. Everybody has their own life, their own situation. I'm sorry, I'm sure the animals have things they're concerned about that we don't know about. Everything has its own life, and God is taking care of all of this, all of it, and he created it. But he still had time to hear me standing right there, no more than 10 feet from where I am right now, asking him about a car, and put things into motion because of that. Come on now. You can't give me enough to cause me to focus on the thing. He moved. He actually moved. And I wasn't arrogant enough to think he was moving because I prayed. I was praying to him because he's the only one that could do it. It's like, if your car is broken, you're not going to take it to a chef. You're not going to take it to a banker. You're going to take it to a mechanic. Why? Because he's the one that can fix it. Same thing with prayer. In everything, God is the only one that can really fix it. And another thing that I've learned to do, when I find myself in situations and things aren't going the way that I want, and I'm hurt and I'm mad and I'm upset, I just go to him and I say, I want to be healed. I want to be healed, not fix that person. That person jumped in I want to be healed, because it's only something that's going on in my heart that would cause me to react negatively to that.
Come on now.
If my focus is on him healing me, then okay, now once that happens, I'm filled with gratitude, with his love, and that will come out towards that person who thinks they're doing something to me. I get lots of practice of that at Fountain of Hope.
Oh, wow, I love it. It's like life as it is. And, please attest, please share with the people, you do have a vehicle that was given to you. You didn't get one of those, but he gave you one.
So that was the first one that was given to me. There are some ladies that volunteer. They're my sisters now. But so that event that I just described happened, I don't know, probably, it was December, because the cars were given away at our second Saturday event. There were some folks that walked to Fountain of Hope to get food and drove home. So there was a lot of blessings going around. But the car, I didn't get one of those. And the pastor said, Thomas, I'm the second round, when the second round comes in, a car is yours. And I was able to tell him, dude, you don't even get it. You don't even get it. To know that God is real, to know that God actually listens to me, to know that God is on my side. And then, so I think it was like January or February, I went to LA, because I was going to LA a lot because my father was still alive. By the way, he died in my arms. He had this yellow band on when he died. As soon as he died, I took it off him and put it on me, haven't taken it off since. But that's a whole nother story. I get there, and one of the sisters, she's all excited. She said, Thomas, I got to tell you something, but you got to promise not to tell my sister. And when she tells you, you have to look excited. She said, they're donating a car to Fountain of Hope, but they would only donate it to Fountain of Hope if they gave it to me. So there's a car. But by that time, I had already started utilizing my walk to work as my time with him. So many times I'd wake up in the morning and I'm feeling some kind of way. And by the time I get to Fountain of Hope, I'm back to me. So I found value in that time of walking to work, but here comes the car. That was the first one. You want to come say hi? My daughter's right here. Hi. There she is.
Hi, Jordan. Hi. Everybody in Radio Land all over the world is looking at your pretty face.
Really? That's so fun to hear.
Ours.
Yours too. Lord have mercy. Well, listen, Jordan, what would you like to say about your dad that you want people to know now that they're listening?
Uh-oh.
Right?
Oh, she said it. She said it in the card.
Right, that's my card.
What? Read the card, Jordan. You read it.
It says, "You the man, happy birthday from your favorite." That doesn't help, actually. Those aren't compliments, but cover your ears. Very hardworking, very, very much always gonna get it done when it needs to be done. Everybody loves him. They've made a Thomas Day for him at his job because the work that he does is just so imperative to everything that they have going on. You make such a big impact everywhere that you go, and everybody loves you.
And that is a fact. Now, he did not share, uncover your ears.
He heard me.
Did not, your dad, he's so modest. He did not share the fact that he's been given a Thomas Day.
They have a Thomas Day every Thursday. Today's Thomas Day. Happy Thomas Day.
See, I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't. Thank you for sharing. Also, now everyone knows, and we need to celebrate every Thursday for you, sir.
As you should.
Mm-hmm. Look.
He's very modest.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, pretty girl.
Thank you.
She gets it.
It was nice to meet you as well.
It's a pleasure. Now listen, you look like your daddy, honey.
Do I really?
Look.
The eyebrow?
The eyebrow.
It's normally the eyebrows.
Is that what it is?
It's normally the eyebrows.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Are you sweating? Because it's hot in here?
No, he's blushing. He's another color right now because you done put all his business out there.
Well, the hot in here was an inside joke. No, it's hot.
No, it's hot.
Well, you know what? As we get ready to close, I do want to talk about your service. You know, you really are a modest person. You just go about your business, serving God, and you're helping so many people along the way.
Can I say
What?
something about that?
Yes,
Really
please,
quick?
please.
I
Go
promise
ahead.
I will be quick. I realize that it's not me.
Hmm.
It's him working through me.
Absolutely.
And I guess the biggest battle I have is that I mentioned pride a lot, pride and ego. And that was one of the first things he revealed to me. Number one, I was judgmental,
Mm.
and my pride was there. And it's not one of those things where I'm going around bragging about myself. For me, it was real subtle. Coming home, laying down, thinking, I did pretty good today. Not even saying it out loud, but it was in my heart.
Yeah.
God must be proud of me today. I didn't cuss. I did this. I helped this person. I. And I had to really check myself on how many times I is coming out of my mouth or I is being thought. And it's not me. It's not me. That's humbling myself before God. Only then can I resist the devil and he'll flee. It's not
Absolutely.
casting you out. No, just God, what does this mean? David did that really well. God, what does this mean? What if a battle is on the horizon? He would say, what do you want me to do? Should I go to battle? Well, we get it twisted because a situation may happen that may look like something that's happened in the past. Instead of God, what we would normally do, oh, I've been here before. I know what worked before. I'm going to do it again. No, every situation is different. Every situation is different. And I'll go as far as to say, God, okay, this is what I want to do. Especially when somebody gets in my face. Remember, somebody get in my face. And I've said this a couple of times, God, you know what I want to say. You know what I want to say. And you know why I want to say it. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to you. What is it you want me to do? And so often it is just shut up and let him do what he's going to do. And in doing that, he's able to work on that other person's heart. We try so hard to change an action by being more forceful, by yelling, how about loving on them?
Mm.
How about loving on them?
How about that?
Yeah. You don't have to be a punk to love.
No.
Actually, that's what a real man will do. It takes a
Right.
real man, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a real man to be able to, in the face of somebody trying to punk you, saying, okay, God, you're in control. You said vengeance is yours. You're going to repay. As a matter of fact, I've seen your vengeance. So I'm asking that he gets to know you. He gets to know how much you really love him, because if he knew how much you love him, he wouldn't be saying this to me. It's just, people don't know. People don't know. Just be open enough to let God speak through you what he wants to say, because only he can heal a heart. I'm sorry. Go on. Ask the next question.
Wow. You're right. And it goes with the last question, almost the last question. And that's, in your opinion, how does the quote unapologetically me? How does that fit into your life?
I don't have anything to apologize for.
Can you relate to being unapologetically you?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least once or twice a day, I'm asked, why are you so happy? I'm not going to apologize. I've been through hell. I used to lower myself to fit in with certain groups of people. I used to lower what I thought of myself. I used to not be all that I could be, so to speak, because of the people I wanted to be around. And I didn't want them to think anything negative about me. But man, I'm 56 years old. I don't have that much more time. I'm going to be me. I'm going to enjoy being me. And hopefully you'll just see, and I'm not saying it in a way where somebody should feel bad, but they should want to know how. Why are you so happy? Why do you wake up smiling? Why? It's not because of anything I did. It's because of what he did, and I just accepted it. I no longer fight to try to please God. I know that I can't. So if I just submit, he's going to fill me with his peace. And there it is. It's his peace. It's his joy. And see, when you have the love of Christ in you, it's kind of attractive. So I'm not even going to go there to think that people are attracted to me. No, it's him in me, because he wasn't always in me, and I wasn't always getting this much attention. I decided to submit my life to him, and now I'm getting the attention. Come on, you'd have to be a fool to not be able to put two and two together. Since he's been in me, things are happening. Since I've learned that the things that I'm doing are his plan. The radio station, I had the radio station for 3 years before it went on the air. He had to show me this is his. The tagline for the station is changing a community while the world listens. That's from him. He also had to show me that things happen in his timing, not mine. It's his timing. All I need to be concerned with is what he has for me right now, what he wants me to say to you and whoever's listening right now. He'll take care of the rest.
What is it that you want to leave when you say, well done? I mean, when you leave this world and go back home to be with the Lord, what is it that you want to leave behind for people to remember you and in hopefully continue the work that the Lord assigned you to do? In other words, what's your legacy, sir?
That, it would be perfectly fine with me if my name was forgotten. But if somebody can see, because this life is so short, but eternity is forever. Eternity is a long time. And if somebody's eternity can be changed for the better because of an encounter with me, but I'm just the vessel. Let me say it like this. If there's a picture in an apartment building that's got 200 apartments in it, and it's blazing fire, and all these families there's some families trapped in there and all, and here comes the fire truck and the hose. Are you going to be concerned about the hose, or are you going to be concerned about the water getting to the fire? Is anybody going to say, well, what hose are you using? What is the material that the hose is made out of? You shouldn't be using that hose on this side. You should be, no, get the hose here so the water, and then once everything is put out, is the concern going to be about the hose? This fire was put out by an X532 hose manufacturer. No, getting the water to the fire. That's all I am, is a hose, getting the water to the fire. So if there's nothing said about me, I wouldn't be here anyway. I'm with him. So a legacy is not my concern.
Well, I want to thank you for saying yes to this interview. I really appreciate you taking out the time to share with the people, encouraging, inspiring, and motivating them this early Monday morning. And hopefully this will get them throughout the day, throughout the week. Our Monday motivation quote for those of you that are listening this morning is, be unapologetically you. That would be the quote this morning.
Yeah, and you don't have to have an attitude about it. I mean, I'm going to be me. I don't care what you don't have to have an attitude, but you don't have to back away and shy away from it. When you are in God's purpose for you being here, number one, you can't hide it because it's him. And apologizing for that would be a waste of time.
Absolutely. Finally, tell people how they can reach you on your social media. Tell the people how they can actually get food and clothing at the Fountain of Hope. And also, if you're looking for any new anybody that has a platform that could pass on the love of Jesus Christ, talk to the people about how they can reach out to you and be a part of what you're doing.
Okay. Well, Fountain of Hope is Fountain of Hope Inc. INC on all social media. Personally, my Thomas Phillips on Facebook and Instagram, Thomas Phillips again. The radio station is Really Real Radio on all social media. The qualifications for the food, just got to be hungry. That's it. Fountain of Hope is at 829 Hollywood Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. And that's it. You can reach, I'm always there. My number is on my card, so I'll give that 762-448-4839. And yeah, I answer my own phone.
They can go on the website too, right?
Yeah, Really Real Radio.
And get this information.
Yep, realrealradio.com, Fountain of Hope. It's FOH Food Bank. Yes, FOHfoodbank.com, not .org.
Okay, and you feed every Tuesday?
We feed every day.
Okay,
every day, because Fountain of Hope is a food bank and it's a food pantry.
Gotcha.
So the pantry part, it's every day from 10 until 1. The food bank part, because we've sent tractor trailer loads of food to places where natural disasters happen. I think we just sent our second semi to New Orleans. So whenever there's a natural disaster, Fountain of Hope is sending. I mentioned we started with 25 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now we're feeding way over 25,000 a month. But we also have 3 tractor trailers, 3 semis. We also have 4 box trucks. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. Well, I am saying it to brag. I'm saying it to brag on God, because we're doing Fountain of Hope. That's his thing. It's his plan. All we are, we're tools in it. And the staff there came from so many different parts. I came from Los Angeles. The founder came from Los Angeles. Somebody came from Honduras, was living in Honduras for 22 years. There's a guy there from Mexico, a guy from Florida. So he was dealing with us, just to show you, he was dealing with us and all of our situations, just so he could bring us together now to do what we're doing now.
Okay. Now, so it doesn't matter that people live in another city or state, they can get food from you guys. Because, like a lot of different pantries, if you're not local, if you're not part of that community, they won't feed you. That's not the case with y'all, right?
No, you just got to be hungry.
You just got to be hungry. Okay. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, y'all got the info. Thank you so much, Facebook family, for tuning in there it is. Really Real Radio. I'm a part of the family, guys. I'm not okay. Why? I do want to thank y'all for being a part of that, though, every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. with a different topic. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. But as it is right now, Reveal and Heal podcast. You can't heal if you won't reveal. I'm Coach Deb. Have an amazing day. Remember to love yourself, love everybody, and be an example. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Thank you. Had a ball.